Hello, magical people of the internet. I am Jen, and welcome to my vlog I never thought I would, where I talk about doing things that I never thought I would do and how they led me to some wonderful breakthroughs and opportunities in both my professional life and my personal life. In the first couple of vlogs, I talked about how I never thought I would write a novel and how I never thought I would do a one-woman show. And these things are linked because I adapted the novel from the one-woman show. So if I never did the one-woman show, I would never have this novel. In this episode, I'm going to talk about another kind of funny thing that I never thought I would do that is linked to this project. I never thought I would chase Robert Downey Jr. down the street. I know. I literally chased Robert Downey Jr. down the street in the middle of Main Street in Santa Monica, California. Yeah. It was New Year's Eve, December 31st, and my best friend Patricia was in Los Angeles visiting me. And I had written this one-woman show, Year of the Slut. Somebody had advised me to write a one-woman show. I never thought I would write a one-woman show, but episode 2 is all about that, so you can go back and watch that if you're interested in that journey. Patricia, she watched me do this one-woman show in my living room, and she was really excited about it. She thought it was great. She actually thought it was so great that she offered to be the executive producer of the show, which was amazing, because that meant that I had somebody on my team with me, somebody in my corner, that I wouldn't have to go at it alone. She's one of my most supportive friends, and she's been with me every step of my creative journey. We met in an acting class, and in actually the first acting class I ever took. She's been an integral person throughout my creative journey, encouraging me not to give up when things seemed hopeless, which, you know, in the entertainment business can be every other week sometimes. Patricia and I were strolling down Main Street in Santa Monica on New Year's Eve, and we were just kind of popping in and out of some shops, looking around, and we get to one shop, and I hear a voice. I know that voice. That is the voice of the legendary Robert Downey Jr. He was dressed super incognito. He had a baseball cap on, he had a hoodie on. He didn't want to be recognized. He probably didn't want to be approached. But Patricia, my friend and my executive producer for my show, is like, you have to talk to him. You have to talk to him, and you have to give him a flyer for your one-woman show. You have to invite him to Year of the Slut. And I was like, no. No. First of all, I'm not gonna bug him. Second of all, what does he care? I'm like some stranger, some unknown actress. He's not gonna come see my one-woman show. Like, that's just not... It's too scary. I'm a huge Robert Downey Jr. fan. I am, like, hands down, just a huge fan of his work, of his journey. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how inspired and in awe of his career I am. This was terrifying. This was terrifying to me. And Patricia, you know, pulled me aside and was whispering to me, and she's like, come on, like, he's a creative. You know, he understands the creative process. He'll actually think it's really cool that you, like, are writing and producing your own show, and that you're such a go-getter. You got to do it. You got to do it. And by the time she convinced me and I mustered up the courage to go talk to him, he had left the shop. I should have talked to him in the shop, because there was just the person who worked there, me and my friend, and him and his friend. It would have been like an intimate little surrounding. It would have been a good opportunity to converse. But I was terrified. I was so terrified. Oh my God. How could I just go up and talk to this, like, legendary person as if my show matters? Like, he matters. I don't matter. And Patricia also was like, yes, you matter. He matters, but you matter too. Like, you can't say no to yourself before he even says no to you. Like, stop, just go. So I leave the shop. I scurry up to him, and he starts walking faster because he probably doesn't want me talking to him, and he probably doesn't want me drawing attention to him that will cause other strangers on the street to come and suck his energy and his time away from him, which happens to celebrities all the time. Like, yes, it's great and it's really cool to be a celebrity, and it's so cool that like you're at the top of your game, everyone knows who you are and loves you and, you know, wants to talk to you. But at the same time, it's like a lot of energy to talk to all these strangers that you actually don't get anything out of it. It's not like a reciprocal exchange. It's just an energy suck. So, I'm chasing Robert Downey Jr. down the street on Main Street in Santa Monica. And I start off with congratulating him because he's just had a big film come out. And I had seen him at the Directors Guild at a Q&A about the film. And I'm like, congratulations. And he's like, for what? And he's like walking even faster. I was like, I just saw you at a Q&A. And he's like, which one? And I was so flustered and so nervous, like I couldn't even spit out the Directors Guild. I was just like, okay, breathe. Finally, I like put my hand into my purse and I pull out the flyer for my one-woman show. I hadn't given this flyer to anyone yet. I had just received them a few days earlier. I had yet to give a single flyer or show the artwork to anyone except for Patricia. I pull out the flyer from my bag and I'm like, I'm sorry to bother you. I just wanted to invite you to my one-woman show. Can I please give you a flyer? And he, without looking, kind of put his hand back and I gave him a flyer and he looked at it and he stopped in his tracks and he turned around and he looked at me and he said, Year of the Slut, this is really your one-woman show? And I said, yeah, it is. And he literally, you know, looked at the flyer, looked up, engaged with me, and he's like, that is a great title. I wish you all the best with your one-woman show. And he folded up the flyer and put it in his pocket, which I was just like, are you kidding me? For somebody of his caliber, of his stature, of his accomplishments in the entertainment industry, as an actor, as a producer, for somebody like him to literally turn around after trying to run away from me and, you know, like acknowledge me and acknowledge that this is a great title, it really kind of gave me the push that I need to move forward with the project. The title is everything because you have like a split second to get people's attention. And if you can hook them with the title, then maybe they'll go to the website, then maybe they'll buy a ticket. But if it's just some bland, uninteresting title and you have to kind of explain it to them, it's really hard to get them to engage, especially in the world of streaming and Netflix and Hulu and all the, you know, infinite Amazon, Apple, infinite numbers of streaming services. It's really hard to get people to, like, number one, spend the money, and number two, actually get off their butt and come to a theater. It kind of was like the extra push that I needed to move forward with things. I don't know about you, but I've started things, thought they were a great idea, and then the enthusiasm and momentum just kind of fizzled out. As a writer and a creative and a producer, you know, we shoot around a lot of ideas all the time with colleagues or even bouncing them around in our head, writing outlines, things like that. But not everything comes to fruition. And actually that's okay. Because not every idea is worth the investment of time and energy and resources. But each idea that you bounce around and engage with leads to a different idea, and it builds on your process, it builds on your proficiency as a writer, as a storyteller. But I think that works for everything in life. We learn from our mistakes, we learn from our failures. We probably learn more from our failures than our own successes. For somebody like Robert Downey Jr., who's like a freaking legend, come on, let's face it, he's a legend. He's a Hollywood legend. His father was a legend. He comes from a very illustrious filmmaking family, and he's got amazing instincts. The projects that he does are phenomenal. Like he's had these great instincts since he was a teenager in terms of like the roles he played and what he picked to do. So for somebody like that to have like such an automatic positive reaction to my title, I was just like, okay, wow, yeah, this is happening. We are going to do this, girl. We are going to do this. So that is my story of chasing Robert Downey Jr. down the street. And it was something I never thought I would do, but it also gave me this immense confidence to move forward with doing a one-woman show, another thing I never thought I would do. And at the time, one of the scariest and overwhelming journeys as a creative I had taken on thus far in my life. I hope my sharing of this experience was inspiring and helpful, and let me know what you are going to go do that you never thought you would do. And let's help each other stay positive and motivated. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment about what you plan to do that you never thought you would. I'm serious. I challenge you. You don't have to chase Robert Downey Jr. down the street, but there's got to be something in your life. There's got to be something that you find kind of scary, but kind of exhilarating. So let me know what it is. Have a beautiful day.